You wave back at someone who wasn't waving at you. Your hand freezes halfway in the air. You pretend you were fixing your hair instead. And for the rest of the day, it replays. That tiny moment where everyone definitely saw. Here's the strange part you've never once questioned. They didn't. Almost no one did. The audience you're performing for barely looked up. This gap even has a name, the spotlight effect. And once you see it, it's hard to unsee. It's the quiet belief that people are watching. Watching you closely, quietly keeping score. That the stain on your shirt is a headline. That one dumb comment defined the whole night. Psychologists actually tested this, and it's almost funny. They sent students into a room wearing an embarrassing shirt. A shirt they'd never choose, loud and mortifying. Then asked how many people noticed that shirt. The students guessed nearly half the room clocked it. The real number was a tiny fraction of that. Most people in the room noticed nothing at all. The shirt that felt like a spotlight was invisible. And it wasn't just shirts or one odd study. Run it with a bad haircut, same result. Run it with a stumble over your words, same. We consistently, wildly overestimate how much we're seen. Not by a little, by roughly double, often more. So the whole math of embarrassment is quietly broken. You feel a spotlight that was never switched on. But a feeling this strong needs a real reason. So why does the mind keep making this mistake? Start with something you can never turn off. You are the one constant in every scene of your life. Every memory you own has you at the center. You've never once lived a moment without yourself in it. So you quietly become the reference point for everything. When something happens to you, it fills your whole screen. The wave, the stumble, the wrong name, huge to you. And here's the trap, you assume it's huge to them. Your mind takes your inside view and projects it outward. It can't picture the room without you at the middle. Psychologists call this failing to adjust from your own view. You start anchored to your own intense experience. Then you try to guess what everyone else saw. But you never adjust far enough away from yourself. You're standing too close to the painting to see the wall. Now add a second thing your mind gets wrong. You know exactly what you did in full detail. You felt the heat rush up into your face. You heard the tiny crack in your own voice. All that inside information feels visible from the outside. It isn't. Nobody out there sees your heart rate. Nobody hears the sentence you almost said instead. They got a blurry 3-second glance, then moved on. You got the director's cut, slow motion, on loop. Of course the two of you remember it differently. One of you barely remembers it happened at all. There's a name for this second gap too. It's the illusion that your insides are showing. Your panic feels broadcast. It's actually well hidden. But here's the piece we saved for last. The real reason no one's watching you closely. It's not that people are especially kind or polite. It's that they're busy doing the exact same thing. That coworker who saw you trip on the stairs? She's replaying her own weird email from Tuesday. The guy you think is judging your order? He's wondering if he sounded stupid on his call. Everyone in that room stars in their own footage. And in their footage, you're a background extra. You wander through their scene for a second, then gone. They're not editing you. They barely even captured you. Picture the last stranger who embarrassed themselves near you. Someone tripped or spilled or blanked on a word. You probably can't picture a single one right now. Not because it didn't happen. It happened constantly. It just never made it into your memory at all. You gave it the same 3 seconds they gave you. That blank you're drawing, that's the entire point. That's exactly how forgettable your moment was too. The spotlight isn't shared. Everyone's holding their own. And every single one points straight back at themselves. This is honestly one of the most freeing facts around. The attention you brace for was never aimed at you. It was aimed inward, at everyone's own private footage. The audience you fear is too self-conscious to watch. Read that again because it flips the whole thing. The people judging you are busy fearing your judgment. It's mutual invisibility dressed up as an audience. Once you feel that, a lot of the dread just drains. So here's the one line worth actually keeping. You're the main character of a show no one else is watching. Not because you don't matter, you clearly do. But your worst moments don't travel the way you fear. They live vividly in exactly one theater, yours. Now, a fair objection you might be having. Sometimes people do notice, sometimes they really do judge. True, this isn't a promise of total invisibility. Once in a while someone clocks the stumble. But here's what the fear still gets badly wrong. Even when they notice, they don't care like you do. A flicker of attention, then their own life resumes. They're not quietly building a case file on you. The judgment you imagine lasting weeks lasts a few seconds. And usually it's warmer than the version in your head. People forgive small human stumbles fast, needing the same mercy. So what do you actually do with all this? Here's the move, and it's genuinely simple. Next time you're bracing after an awkward moment, pause. Ask one specific question, not a vague spiral. Will this person even remember this in a week? Not was that embarrassing. Your mind lies on that one. Ask about a week, and the honest answer is almost always no. That question drags you out of your own footage. It forces you to guess from their side of the room. And from their side, the moment is already gone. Do this enough and something quietly starts to shift. You stop rehearsing conversations before they even happen. You raise your hand with the half-formed question. You send the text without drafting it 4 times. Not because you suddenly got braver, exactly. Because you finally called the spotlight's bluff. The room was never watching the way you thought. It was far too busy watching itself. If this made your next awkward moment lighter, subscribe. That's the whole channel. Now go do the thing you were overthinking. Nobody's watching as closely as you fear. That's the gift.